All right, check this out, guys. This might be our best video to date, and there's nothing new in it. Let me explain. What we did this week is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I took all the best stories out of the episodes of the past, and I piled them into one episode back to back to back to back. So you'll see some of the best stuff from some of the episodes that you haven't seen. If you don't like this episode, you're not gonna like this podcast. So check it out. We got stories from episodes that are underwatched, in my opinion. So if you like what you see or hear in some of these stories, definitely go back and check out the episode that story's from, and you might just like it. But before you do that, please, please, please fulfill the Degenerates Agreement, which is, as you know, or if you're new, you don't know, like, subscribe, tell 2 of your friends about this podcast so that we can keep making these. And, you know, buy some merch. Got these new whale mentality hats on the website. So yeah, check those out, like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Just stories.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking. Me and my buddy.
By the way, for everybody out there, Freddy's name really isn't Freddy, but he has a funny story about why he's called Freddy, related to these old days that he told me once before. Would you tell that story?
Oh yeah, for sure. Anyway, I met this Lebanese guy. He was in the jewelry business. He used to go out on the road and sell these cheap watches. Mm-hmm. You know, now the fake ones.
Yeah, yeah.
He used to sell
Rolex,
them. Yeah, he used to buy them by the kilo. And it didn't matter if he went to the gas station, if he went to Denny's, if he went wherever he's at. If you said hi to him, he tried to sell you a watch. And whatever you gave him, he took. $10, 15, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, he used to buy them by the kilo.
So what's the price? How much
You know what I mean? So anyway, I met him at Caesar Palace. We were playing in the poker game, whatever. He left town. One day he called me. He says, "Oh man, I'm in Reno. The games are so good. You should come and play here." I said, "Okay, tomorrow I take a flight." I took a flight. I went to Harris Casino. We had dinner. Went to the poker room. You know, the poker room is like in the middle of the casino with a railing around it. 5, 6 tables. You put your name on the list, and when they call you, they announce on the microphone, everybody here in the casino, so-and-so to the game, your seat is open. So after dinner, we went to the poker room. Went to the poker room. The guy on the podium, he says, "Oh, you want to play some poker?" I said, "Yeah, well, what's the biggest game you got?" He said, 2 to 10 limit hold'em, $1 and $2 blind. Mm-hmm. You can bet.
Up to 10. Yeah.
Up to 10 anytime.
Right, yep.
I said, "Okay, put me on the list, please." He said, "What's your name?" I said, "Kasim, Kassem." I swear, I tried to spell it to him about 7, 8 times. He couldn't get it. My friend next to me, he pushed him so hard like this. I mean, really pushed him. Yeah. The guy almost fell down. He said, "His name's Freddy." The guy said, "Oh, that's easy." So he wrote down Freddy. So he wrote down Freddy. Now my turn come up. "Freddy, to the poker room, your seat is open." So everybody's listening. So the people in the game say, "Oh, Freddy is coming to the game." So I sat down, played that night, made my money, I left. The next evening I came back. The same guy is working. He says, "Freddy, you want to be on the list?" I said, "God damn, you're not so stupid after all." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I tried to spell my name to you 7 times last night, but you remember Freddy." He said, "Yeah, Freddy's easy." And now I'm hanging around Reno. In Las Vegas, everybody knew me by Kasim.
Yeah.
You know? And now I'm hanging around Reno for a while. Met my first ex-wife there. Yeah. My daughter was born there, the first, Janine, was born there. And everybody got to know me by Freddy.
Poker and gambling was always a family activity for me. My grandmother taught me card games at a young age. She's the oldest woman ever played the World Series main event.
I did read that as well, yeah.
You probably didn't know that story.
96. I also heard she tried to rebuy after she busted.
So this would have been the most viral clip in poker if they ever caught this on camera. So my grandma's 92 years old. For a Christmas gift, I brought her into the main event. I flew out all my aunts, my siblings, my dad, everyone. So we had 12 people in Vegas to sweat her. World Series was alerted she was coming. They had her do shuffle up and deal. Nolan Dalla, fucking greatest media person ever,
Yeah.
fed her this line that was like, you know, she's doing the shuffle deal, and she's like, and you're all playing for second. But she, yes. So imagine this 92-year-old lady saying that, like, and being my gram, it was awesome. I had her fucking patched up with Poker Tracker. I sold 1% to all the top online guys. So, like, I think I was in for like 5 or 6K for 50%. A bunch of people had 1%, and she was sponsored for 2K. So I'm always trolling, and so I even troll my own grandmother. And so I go to my cage, my box or whatever at the series. I give her a 10K brick and said, "This is for your rebuy." So she plays day one of the main event like a cash game with the 10K brick behind her chips. And she ends up going broke, and the guy who has like a set versus is like telling her to fold, and she's like, "I can't fold this in," and calls with like top pair. So she gets felted, and then she takes the 10K and wings it to the dealer and says rebuy, and it lands in the dealer tray. The dealer pushes back, says, "Ma'am, there's a freeze out." She's like, "No, I don't want to go yet. I want to rebuy." And throws it back, and then she's like, "God damn it, Shaun!" Like, so
You fucking trolled your grandma.
equal opportunity troller.
She folds 100% if you don't. If you
No,
don't tell her that.
Yeah, the whole goal was just for her to make day two.
Yeah.
You know, she played it 2 years, and after the first year, I was back home in New York. I was living in Vegas at the time, and we were driving from something. I was driving around, and she goes, "That was the greatest day of my life." And you know, that was awesome to me. That was great for my family. And when she passed a few years ago, you know, they always do like the video memoriam, and 2/3 of the video was just clips from the World Series. Like, I had reached out to Mori. He sent some footage that never been aired. Like, they were great to her, great to our family. And yeah, we even went back home and had all the local news stations do an article on it. Like, they were all interviewed her. We're sitting there playing at the table, and like, it was a great experience.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
That's a great story.
Like my first 5 years in Vegas, I didn't have a car. I've had a car for like
Makes
3
sense.
years.
Yeah. I feel like people from New York just don't have cars.
Like I had a car like in high school and college, and then when I moved to Brooklyn after college, like I had a car for a little bit, and it was such a pain in the ass parking that I was just like, I don't want a car anymore. And then so I came out here, and I didn't have a car, and I was living on the Strip, so I was like, oh, I could just Uber. And then I lost my license for a little bit.
In an Uber?
No, I would rent a car during the World Series every summer.
How would you lose your license by renting a car?
Well, it wasn't for renting the car exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I spent the better part of day 2 of the WSOP Maine one summer in county jail here in Las Vegas.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know this story. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I, you know how there's a day off in between day 1 and day 2 of the Maine? So I bagged day 1. I was living in Summerlin at that time, and I was sharing a house with Kevin Stammen and Ravi. And I was like taking a nap, you know, it was like 6 p.m., 7 p.m.
Sleep time.
And they like come into my room and they're like, oh, you want to like, we're going to go to Fogo de Chao. And I'm like, leave me the fuck alone, I'm sleeping. So then they left, and then like, it like hit me what was going on. And I like woke up, I was like, Fogo de Chao sounds great. But I'm like, I call them, I'm like, they're like, whoa, we just got seated. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to rush over there. So like I get in my car, I'm like, was gonna, you know, you gotta smoke before you go to Fogo de Chao. And I was like, oh, I don't really have time, so I'll just smoke while I'm riding over there. And I was also texting, and I get pulled over for texting, and the officer noticed the smell, and he arrested me. And like, it was like 9 p.m., and I was in jail all night, and Massey literally had to go hire a lawyer who had to like get me released from jail the next day. And I get like let out of jail. I'm like fucking downtown. I don't want to wear the same clothes, whatever. So I like take a taxi. I have nothing with me. I take a taxi. I don't even have keys. Take a taxi back to Summerlin just so I could shower and whatever. And I literally had like 170 missed calls and messages because I'd been blinding out of the Maine for like 5 hours, and everyone's like, he's got to be dead. And then like finally I get back there. I haven't slept one wink because you don't want to sleep there. And like the 4th or 5th hand, I like double and I like spin it all the way up. I ended up making day 5 that year.
Oh, shit.
But what was crazy is by like the end of the day, I was like delirious. I couldn't even see the board, so I left an hour early too. I just left. I pulled an Ivy and I just left my card on my chips, and I went home. And I remember, so then it gets worse. So I'm at this new house, like I'm at this house I'm staying at, and it's like dark, and I'm like, you know, delirious, and I like get out of an Uber, and I'm like, well, and I trip over the front step, like break my toe, I like fall, I'm like bleeding everywhere, and I just you know what? That was rock bottom. That was it, because I remember I was just like laying on the cement. I just spent the night in jail. I blinded out for 5 or 6 hours. I'm bleeding. I'm fucking. And I just like look up, and I'm just like. And then the best part was, since I didn't have keys, there was no one home, and I was locked out. And I had to wait like an hour, just like sitting there in the grass, dejected, wounded, just evaluating life.
All right, real quick. Do you have crypto just sitting in a crypto wallet doing nothing? Then you've probably never heard of Gauntlet. Gauntlet.xyz is a billion-dollar research company that manages risk for huge internet platforms like Uniswap, Arbitrum, Jupiter, and a ton of other ones. And how can they help you? They actually curate these things called crypto vaults. And what's a crypto vault? Well, you just put your crypto in, you get an interest rate. The interest rate depends on the supply and demand of that particular token that you put into there. It's kind of complicated, but their algorithms make it like 1,000 poker solvers are working on your side. And you get a return on crypto that was just sitting in your wallet anyway. Here, let me show you how it works. I've got 800 USDC here. I'm gonna put it into this USDC vault. The current interest APY is a little over 9%. So I'm gonna get that for a little bit, and I can take it out whenever I want. Now, as you can see, they have a bunch of different vaults, a bunch of different tokens. Do your own research on all of this, which one appeals to you, but definitely don't let your crypto just sit in your wallet doing nothing. It could be here earning for you. So if you've got USDC or USDT, which if you're a poker player, you probably do, you're gonna wanna have it sitting in one of these vaults earning something for you. So head on over to gauntlet.xyz/T1 and it'll take you right to the vault page. You'll be able to check out which one looks good to you. All right, back to the show.
All right.
Did you hear what, I don't want to go too off topic.
There is no off topic.
Did you hear that Paul threw up in the game yesterday?
Sorry, for those who don't know, Paul is a mainstay at Table 1.
If you don't know Paul, he's begging you. Anyway, I'll put a link to that somewhere at this point of the video. Cheers, boys.
I'm begging you. Put the 4K in so I can scoop it. I'm begging you.
Washed up rapper turned degenerate poker pro. Oh, I'm sure he'll be on next.
You gotta put the framed photo of his rap group in high school.
Yeah, PG Boys. Oh, yeah.
I have it right here if you want me to flash it. But anyway, yeah, he had an episode. He ate too much.
Oh, he ate too much.
Because he's on the Ozempic right
He's
now.
on the same thing as me.
He's on the thing.
He's on the shot.
And he abused his caloric intake, and the thing spanked him for it. Which
Good.
I think
It'll do that.
No, it's a good. I mean, that's why he's taking it. I would imagine.
But it ended up with Paul basically throwing up at the table, and then he had to get a toothbrush delivered to the table so he could brush his teeth at the table because he's extremely hygienic.
Yeah,
which is-
yeah.
Cleanest asshole in Vegas. Sorry, my kids watch this. Sorry, kids.
I mean, he
Every single hair is perfectly clean.
Groomed.
Just groomed. Just pick clean.
No,
He gets lost with those things. Speaking of toothbrush.
his hygiene is one of his biggest strengths, in my opinion. But yeah,
It's odd and interesting that I got in the bar business because the biggest problem you had as a dealer was a guy who had too much to drink.
There you go.
And of course, on the table, you're gambling, your drinks are free. The waitresses aren't tracking how much you had. They're not really concerned with your behavior because, for the most part, everyone tips the waitress. But a guy got really upset that he was losing consistently. I was running lucky. You have days as a dealer, you run good, and days you run bad.
More value to the casino.
And
What casino was it? Just curious.
Tropicana.
Okay, good.
Yep, and the guy, I started downtown, as all dealers do, to get proficient. But ultimately, I ended up getting very lucky to get a job at the Trop. And on a blackjack table, a guy had too much to drink, was very upset at how much he was losing, and he reached across the table and stuck his hand in my rack to grab chips. And I was a bit reactive, maybe from the military or growing up in New York, where I actually couldn't believe I met people that had never been in a fight, because in New York, you had a fight a week and you were playing marbles or softball with the guy the next day. You didn't take it personally. Nobody used knives or guns, and it was no big deal. But yeah, so it was not that shocking for me to grab his arm before he could withdraw with chips and pull him over the table as the shift boss pulled me off him and said, we got it from here. Okay. Can I take a break? I just need a few minutes. So yeah, that was probably the most physical I had to get on a table with the drunk to protect the house, hang on to the chips.
So WPT had just released their first season 1 schedule, and there was a tournament at Paris, the Aviation Club, and this is a fucked up story. So it's my first trip to Europe playing poker, and I go there with my then wife and my stepdaughter, and bust out the tournament, and we're flying home the next day. I'm there with Eric Lindgren. Also, Eric Lindgren was traveling with us as well, and so me and Eric are going to play poker all night. So we're playing poker all night. It's about 7:30 in the morning. I was like, Eric, we got to leave. I cash out. I quit. I was playing 3 and 600, and I had 40,000 in euro in my hand. And I'm standing behind Eric. Eric's playing with, I remember it was Barry Greenstein and Ivy, and I don't remember who else. And I was like, Eric, we got to go. Eric's like, Eric says, let me play till my blind. And I start hearing these dishes break around the corner. So I look my head, I peep my head around the corner, and there's a guy with a machine gun.
Holy shit. What?
And a motorcycle helmet. And the machine gun is pointing at the porter who's cleaning up the dishes. And he's yelling shit in French. And I don't know a word of French. And
He's probably not, thanking him
no,
for the
no. Then somebody yells in English, says, everybody get down, we're getting robbed. And so now, the Aviation Club is on the main road, which is the Champs-Élysées or something like that. Whatever the main road in France, in Paris is. And so it's on the second floor, so there's only one way in and one way out.
Oh, no.
So I get behind a big stack of chairs because they're starting to clean up from the tournament. It's down to the final table. And the robbers think that all this money that is being given away at this tournament is there, and they're coming to get it. So I'm like in fetal position behind this stack of folding chairs, and all this is going on. And so now I can see the robber filling a pillowcase full of money from the cage. They keep passing money. And in Europe, they have 500 euro bills.
That's a lot of money.
And so they're making a score. I mean, so this is going on for like 2 minutes. Carlos Mortensen is literally 2 feet from this, and he's peeping his head around the corner watching. And I was like, dude, we called him Amigo back then. His name was Amigo. And I was just thinking, Amigo, fucking get away. Now over here, Eric, Barry Greenstein, and Ivy are under the table. They were playing 8 and 1600. And they're under the table. And I hear Ivy say, I'm on for doubles next hand. This fucking guy, we're in the middle of being robbed. The robber is saying shit in French that we don't know, and all Ivy's thinking about is when this is over, he's on doubles and props. So this goes on for like, it felt like eternity. It was probably 2 minutes, but they filled this bag full of money for 2 minutes, and it looked heavy. They finally leave, and it's really quiet, like nobody's saying a word. And like 30 seconds later, they're back. The guy is back.
Oh no.
So I'm instantly thinking, okay, the police are here. This is a hostage situation. I'm looking at the window right behind me, and I'm like thinking, do I jump out the window? What the fuck do I do? Luckily, they dropped their keys. The robbers dropped the keys to their scooter. They robbed us. They came in a scooter. Could you imagine the getaway car with a guy with a fucking pillow? Yes, a guy with some like Wile E. Coyote cruising on a scooter with a pillowcase full of money. But luckily, it was gone. It was over, and everybody was fine. Nobody got hurt. The craziest thing about it all was one of my vivid memories is, so there was a bouncer at the aviation club, and they wouldn't let us leave because the police had to come, and but we had a flight to catch, and so it's like now, I mean, we're gonna miss our flight, and so I had to call my then wife to let her know what the fuck's going on. And back then, in the early 2000s, phones, it was a race to see who could make the smallest phone. And in France, the phones were small. And this bouncer was huge. And I was like, I need to call my wife. And he's like, what hotel is she staying at? I'll call for you. And he had these enormous hands with this tiny ass phone. And you would think, so let me rewind. There was two gunmen. One held the security guard, to where he couldn't do anything, and the other one did the work. But you would think that this guy that just had a gun to his head for 5 minutes had some adrenaline and would be. I mean, I'm shaking thinking about it. And this guy, you would think he was shaking, but he wasn't. And I was like, instantly in my head, I was like, this guy's in on it. Oh. And because he just dialed the phone number to this hotel on this tiny ass phone with these enormous hands, and so just to this day I still think he was in on it. They never, the funniest thing about it is how sharp the people at the casino are. The press release came out, we got robbed, and the robbers got away with 78,000 euro.
Which can't be true.
Zero chance. Absolutely zero chance. I mean, they got away with no less than $1 million. It was insane. But yeah, I haven't been back to France since. And for a couple years, it went away. But for a couple years, I would have PTSD every time I saw somebody on a scooter with a motorcycle helmet. It was
checking for pillowcases.
Yeah, yeah. That
if you were a crap stealer at the Bellagio when the biker bandit came through, you'd be right.
But, yeah, that was.
It is nice though they didn't go after any of the players though.
Yeah,
there was a lot of money on the table if you guys are playing 3-6.
Yeah, no, I had 40,000 in my hand, and that was so in my poker career I've been robbed twice, and I'm still plus $200 to this day. It's I didn't lose any money there, and then there was another robbery at home that I got out of. I don't know how, but
was it like a home invasion or?
No, it was. We were playing poker, and there was this really weird guy that was playing with us. It was like 5-10 limit. I think I was 20 years old. We were playing 5-10 limit mixed games, and I got this really weird vibe from this guy, and. So back then there used to be a thing called, you know what a kitty is, where like whenever I win a pot, I throw something in it, and so I was like, hey man, you want a kitty? And I was doing it as an edge because he's in every pot, and so so me and him are kittying, and so now it's time to cash out, and I bought in for 200 and I won 400. So I literally had 6 $100 bills on the table. He comes around the corner with a gun that it wasn't this big, but it fucking looked this big. And so he comes around the corner, and my back is to the hall where he's coming from, and he puts the gun right to my back. And he says, guys, my wife is in the hospital. All I want is the money that I've lost back. And So now the game runner, and the game runner's name was JJ. He was he was just a rotten guy. And so the guy says, JJ, where's the house money? And the guy reaches in his pocket and he's got a bankroll like that. And the guy says, yep, that's about what I lost. so he takes that, and then I have $600 on the table. And the guy says, Josh, how much did you win? And I said, I bought in 200 and I won 400. He said, you played good. You deserve half of it. He only took $200 off the table. And so then after that, he
I like this guy.
Yeah, no. So now, so after he took all of our driver's licenses, and about a week later in the mail, I got my driver's license back with a photocopy of it, and it said, "Don't look for me. I have friends that play with fire." That was the exact words. So now, fast forward about 6 months. There's a shootout at this bar in Marietta, and it was that guy. Oh. He robs the bar in Marietta, which is a suburb of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. He robs the bar, stays there for 30 minutes. After he robs the bar, when he's going outside, the police are there waiting for him, and he gets in a shootout with them, and they kill him.
Wow, Jesus.
Yeah, it was... it was.
Kind of respect him though.
I mean, it's like I'll never forget it. Those were his exact words. Were, Josh, you played good. You deserve half of it. and I was this cocky kid. And I could see myself saying something stupid like, "Why do I only deserve half?" But yeah,
I'm just lucky that a lot of my good friends are like the best players in the world. Like, kind of grew my friend group even more. And they kind of convinced me to play bigger and bigger. They're like, nah, man, you should be playing this stuff. Like, this year I played my first Tritons. Sort of the same. It was like I started playing, like, I played my first, like, 25Ks and stuff. I played my first 25K right before that, and I, like, had final tabled it, but I gotten, like, 6th or whatever for, like, you know, how those are. It's, like, 5 buy-ins, so it wasn't, like, a big... I had sold some, and it was good. It was a good feeling. Like, the final table was, like, Z Justin and Ben 86 and like, you know, like Adrian Matios, and I was like, holy shit, and me. Great. All right, hey, hi. I'm here, guys. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. And I just kept studying more, kept like I worked for Run It Once for a long time, so I always just had this studious approach to poker, and I just kind of kept working on it and talking with, you know, like people who I think are better than I am. And like trusting in my smart friends they're just like, hey, you can beat these games. So like, yeah, this year when some of my friends were like, you should come play Tritons, I was like, oh, all right.
Those are some hefty buy-ins for those who don't know out there. These are like 25K and up. Like they're not.
Yeah.
Like I think I saw that you cashed 4 of them. Like it was like a 30K buy-in, a 40K buy-in, like maybe a 70K buy-in. I mean,
yep.
That's ridiculous.
It's like you have to bring $1 million with you every Triton, pretty much, to like.
And just out of curiosity, not that future Justin will have this problem, but is it hard to like kind of like move money back and forth between countries at all, or is it like fairly easy? Okay.
No, these guys are great. They just they give you a credit account that's denominated in USDC, so just crypto.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I mean, you know, they're not people that you want to steal from, so they trust you. You know, it's like
fair enough. Trust out of fear. I get it.
Well, I mean, they're very nice people, but it's just like you don't know.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like people who have that much money, you don't fuck those people. Like that's a general business policy.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, out of my own curiosity, how much did you have of yourself in these Jeju? How do you say it?
Jeju? Yeah, Jeju, yeah.
Jeju, Triton events.
I size everything kind of the same. So regardless of like say I'll take like 15K of action, I'll have that throughout. So it's like, I mean, you need like $10 million or more to play 100Ks, and I don't got that. So it's like, I'll keep like 15K of action and then sell at markup.
So of a 25K, you'll have like 60% of yourself,
exactly.
But like 100K, you'll be 15%.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, good for you. All right.
Yeah. So, and like use that to just kind of scale and play. They're like, it's a high rake environment, and they're it's like 6% rake on 100K.
Oh wow, that's kind of big.
And they're kind of turbo-y. So, but there's a lot of players that you want to play against. Also, they give you everything for free: hotel, food.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's all everything's included.
Okay,
I was going to say there's some rake there. They're just getting there, but apparently not.
Yeah, no, it's really your flight. It's cheaper than everything else. It's like
Wow. Cool.
And they make sure that the VIPs, the people you want to play against, are there. They love playing there. They treat everyone great. Like, it's the best. Outside the Poker Go studio, it's the best playing environment I've ever played in. Like, everyone's having a good time. It's very healthy game environment, as opposed to like some of these where it's just like,
Yeah. There you go.
like
people not making poker fun.
Man, no, I'm not into that. I mean, I will play some of those if I have to, because I'm a DGen and I'll just play tournaments because I love them. But yeah, I'm much happier playing this when people are having a good time gambling. They're like, I busted this 50K 5 times. I'm coming back in again. And they're, still just whatever.
Yeah. And people kind of laugh at him. He's like, you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like, that's the right attitude to have. Like, no one should give him shit. Like, I mean,
I love that.
Unrequited.
That is kind of going to the spotlight now, because that's like our whole brand. What we're trying to do, just make poker fun again.
Yes, exactly.
And seeing that in like the high rollers it's good. It's good that people are doing that.
It's fantastic.
It really is.
I don't know if it really hit me this January in the Poker Go stuff. Like, you played a bunch of them. When you watch like the final tables, when they weren't in that back room, you could see like everyone at the table was serious, but you could hear the entire room laughing in the background.
That's right.
Which I thought was great. Mm-hmm. It was like, I feel like every day when we were in there, we were all having a good time. We're all playing serious poker. Oh my God. Speaking of stuff, I'm laughing.
I remember my first drink.
I don't like coffee.
He doesn't like coffee. Not a bourbon at the top of that coffee.
Man, that like hit the back of the throat way too hard. All right, maybe we'll edit, maybe not. I guess it's always up to Art whether or not my shenanigans actually
as long as I
make it
didn't
on
do the
there.
embarrassing thing, I'll just leave it in.
Yeah, exactly.
We were there for LAPC, and it was a 2-week stretch where we played with this Chinese guy who called the story of the total was titled 2. We were playing with him, and he just kind of went busted and looked at me and said 2. And I'm like, what? And he's like, he didn't speak much English at all. He come over, he take out 4 or 5 Ks off my stack and says 2, 20. He wanted 20,000. And I'm like, well, and I look at Loy, and Loy's like the king of commerce, the regular there. Mm-hmm. And he says, hey, yeah, sure, we chop it all up. Anybody who pro, chop it all up. So I get everybody in a group text, I give him 20,000. Well, that 20 ended up going to about 200.
He ran it up, or you just kept giving him 20?
We kept giving him 20.
Okay.
Oh,
this story is forever. Like, so much went involved with this 2-week span. Like, he showed up in a brand new Bentley, and the valet and JC Trans texted me, H, you just showed up in a Bentley. I'm like, yeah. He owes
me a Bentley.
He owed me. I had the biggest chunk that was owed, and then it was split up amongst about 10 people at one point. And then he owed Josh Ledeen 60,000. He came in and wanted to play open face and bet on his buddy. He kept telling us, this is small money. And we were just like, man, like, so then he tells me, this is so funny. He tells me, your money Tuesday. I said, okay, I believe you. So we play next to Jace, he doesn't come in. Tuesday comes along. We're playing at the front table by the smoke room. Mm-hmm. I mean, that place is just so great. And we're sitting there, and somebody says, he's walking in. I go, really? I said, okay, nobody say a word. Let me handle this shit, okay? So I kind of turn, and he's walking in, and I look at him, and I go, huh? And he just grabs a chair and puts it in the game and goes, huh. And I go, what? He goes, 2. He looks at me, and I go, H, dude, man. I said, come here, man. I take my phone out. I show him a picture of my kids. I go, H, dude, I have kids, man. This is too much money. You understand what I'm saying? And he smiled. He goes, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, you have your money. 5 o'clock. And I go, okay. I said, but we're going to wait till 5, okay? He goes, okay. He leaves. 4 hours later, 5 o'clock comes. And here he come walking in like Santa Claus. He's got an orange Nike bag, like from the shops. You remember the shops up the road? Yeah. It's full of cash. The whole bag is full of cash. And he points at me and Josh and says, come. And we go to the back private room area there they built. And he just starts pulling out bricks. And almost all the money's in 50s. And he's going, 1, 2, and he's paying off. It was something like $250,000, yo. He pays it off, and I kind of look in the bag, and he's still got like 50 left. And I go, let's go play. So we kept playing, and it was the best game. And so many outrageous hands happened. And Shaun was there for a lot of them, and so was Andy Andreevich, Matt Greenwood. Lloyd played a lot. Ryan Gorgano, I always spell his name wrong. Trinidad, we call him Ryan Trinidad. Yeah. And we played around the clock. I think I slept, I don't even remember sleeping. For 11 straight days, we played at least, and it was incredible. And I remember I took a decent amount of that cash home, a lot of the 50s. We funneled some of them out through the cage. And I gave them to my wife some. I said, I got a bunch of 50s. Just deposit some of them, spend some of them, whatever. One day she texted me, she says, one of these straps had a 20 in it. And I said, that's okay. He can owe me 30. I said, that's okay. We'll let it slide. She had no idea we're loaning this guy. We didn't even have his phone number. 200,000.
Can't tell Lucy you're loaning some guy 250,000.
We had no contact with the guy for 2 weeks there. He had one guy in there that he talked to named Kenny, not Kenny Tran. And so we were tipping off Kenny. Kenny was playing smaller games. We were giving him money just to let us know when he's here. Here's 500. Man, it was the wildest thing. It was so much fun that 2-3 weeks. I think it was 2000 and maybe 17, 16. It wasn't that long ago. It was one of the last years LAPC was really good for cash games.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And man, was it good.
Anyway, Chu, if you're out there listening.
Hey, Chu, come out here. You'd like it.
Lynn's good for at least 240.
We were doing everything. We took a picture of his jacket, found out the brand. It was a $6,800 jacket. Oh so we're like, he keeps telling us small money. I'm like, I believe him, man. And then we found out from Chinese Jackie that plays sometimes with y'all and plays with me. Jackie knew who he was, and because he came to the World Series too and played a little bit. And Jackie said, he has big money. He just couldn't get it to California. They had bank issues and. He kept telling us small money. I'm like, man, I got kids. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It was great though. It's one of those characters, that you meet in poker that I don't think you can meet in any other landscape of profession or environment. Some of the people you meet in gambling and in poker specifically, like you'll just never find these people. You go home for Thanksgiving, and I'm trying to explain some of these people that I play with, and they're like, he does what? What does he do? I'm like, I don't know what he does. We gave him 150,000. Like it's just impossible to describe. They
were fun games. They were like laughter. Everything is going around. This one incident you were saying, it didn't really involve any recreational player. We were playing late into the night. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning that the game went on. Recreational players, tourists were gone. And it was
the stuck people left.
Just the stuck people. Exactly. But wait a second.
I've been there.
You know that.
Yeah.
Stuck professional is a lot yummier than any recreational that you know. You get 100%. A pro stuck. They just hand you a lot of money. And we were playing this gentleman. I'm not going to mention names. Just mention his first name, Tommy. And he had this nervous habit too. He had a comb in his back pocket. Every time he'd get nervous, he'd take the comb out and comb his hair and put it back in. So obviously that was happening every hand he lost, or every time he'd look at his card and he missed the flush, and
not a tell at all.
Another this is the 16th in a row I missed. Okay, I hope you guys he's going crazy, and we are obviously loving it. Let's go, Tommy. And we were playing, and there was another. So it was me, Danny, Tommy, and Sid the Kid, and Sid the Kid was hunchback. He had a hunch on his left side, was hunchback. So if I was Sid, you called me, I had to turn around and look at you like this. Yeah. So he really couldn't see what was happening there. He was But again, you know, like we're all playing, taking Tommy's money. And this is 4 o'clock in the morning. And the cleaning crew comes into the casino at that time. And there was an old lady that came into the poker room at Caesars, and she had the vacuum cleaner. She would take stuff out and start the vacuum cleaner. And she was way back in the corner of the poker room. But we could see Tommy turning around, looking at her every time she started the vacuum, you know. And like, he's all upset. And Danny looked at me, and I looked at him. He didn't have to say one word. You know, we were like, I knew exactly what was going to happen. He took a green chip from his stack. He walked up. Tommy can't see it. She's back there. Danny walked over to the lady and gave her the $25 chip and gave her explicit instructions. And I could see her like explain to her. And came back and sat down. We were playing. And next thing we knew, she was coming closer and closer to our table. I thought you were going to Tommy is going absolutely nuts. Tommy's going, you know, like, keep looking at her. Like, now she's been in like 10 feet of her and just going around. And she's vacuuming the place. And Tommy's going crazy. And finally, she comes over. And again, you know, Tommy's like not expecting this. She comes over and taps Tommy on the shoulder.
No.
She goes, sir, would you mind moving your chair so I can vacuum under the table? That's what, so I can vacuum under the table.
That's good value for $25.
No kidding. Now, at that time, smoking was allowed, and so the ashtrays.
Yeah.
Tommy got so upset that he took the ashtray. He just like slammed it in the bottom of under the table and goes, here, clean this. There's nothing in there. And Sid the kid had no idea like what he just heard a bang. He just got up and started like trying to run away from the table. I mean, Danny and I were laughing so hard. And of course, Tommy, once we started laughing that hard, he knew that he got set up. It was like perfect. But, you know, I mean, look, things like that somewhat happens now on TV. You know, like not exactly that. But when people are having fun playing poker, it's so much more watchable.
Dude,
and, you know, becoming a statue.
And that's one of the things about the Poker Go studio that I love is that, like, it's kind of bringing that element back to poker. I don't know. Maybe it's just everybody's kind of getting aware that, like, oh, hey, people maybe don't want to play with you if you're going to stare at them for, you know, a minute and all that. But no, a lot of the final tables that I've seen on Poker Go and like just obviously all the high stakes poker that's coming back and all that stuff, the sentiment is it's coming back. The having fun at the table, it's definitely making its return.
Of course. You have to let the players bring in their core group, because once that happens, then, you know, nobody's going to be offended if you slow roll them or we say something funny, you know, like it's all fun and games there.
Just a quick break here, guys. Are you tired of playing with players like this? Not this. No, like this? Or this?
Or do you want to play with players like this?
Oh, wait, If you like having fun at the poker table, Table 1 is the game for you. We play high stakes, no limit, 100 blinds. And if you want to get into the game, it's actually super easy. We have a website, table1.vegas. You just go to the website, you click get a seat in the game, and fill out the form. It's that easy. It's your name, it's your phone number, it's the date that you're here, and I will personally reach out to you.
And it's only $5K minimum buy-in. You know, run it up at 2.5 and join us.
Joe has a really funny hand, which I actually looked at this morning, where it was the first, I don't know if it was the first, I guess they didn't have that many. Did they only have one series?
No, they had multiple.
Okay,
they had
well,
like
anyway,
3
the
or 4.
one that I watched, it was a 20K buy-in, main event. Joe burst the bubble in this crazy hand with the 4 deuce off.
Was this the one with Selbst?
No, not Selbst.
No.
Vanessa Russo, and David Williams.
No, Faraz.
No, I'm pretty sure it was David Williams.
I'm pretty sure Art watched
it was Faraz.
Okay, one of those two guys. I'm gonna put the video in here somewhere. It's somebody I found.
The clip is great because the announcer they hired someone to do the announcing. He did like college football. I forgot the guy's name, but he was an
I can
excellent
picture him.
announcer.
Yeah, I can picture him.
And they hired him from that poker league, and it was like, oh, this is going to be super legit because they had his voice on there.
Yeah.
So I was like, this has got to be like the most legit thing ever, you know? Like,
all right, well, let's go through the
Very
hand,
legit.
and then after it's over, I'm gonna.
We'll talk more about Epic
you got to play the hand. You got to play it.
No, Art's
it.
got
We're
it.
gonna
Art's
put
got
it
it. But
in.
like you retell
But
it.
you tell the hand and what you were thinking because it was fucking crazy, especially at the time. What year was this? Like 2010?
Yeah, probably 2011 or something. But
11
like,
sounds right.
yeah, so
before like the UIEGA, before the online poker got banned, like in that window.
Listen, like poker back then was a little. You had to make some like OG type moves, like original gangster. You know, like like
I get it.
People didn't really know like, oh, this, that, or the other thing. But anyways, we were down to like. It was the worst beat I've ever put on someone. I do feel like I think about it.
Bad, please.
I don't feel bad, but like it was dirty. It was dirty.
I do reminisce on how I fucked you. I did destroy you.
But no, they paid like 12 spots and a 20K buy-in, and so like make the money was like 52K. But then there was also like
points
towards like $1 million free roll, which was worth about $40,000.
Exactly.
And if you just any like top finisher gets in this free roll.
That's right.
Right. So like, yeah, there was a free roll and like all this stuff. So it was worth like only It was $52,000 direct cash, like right there for 12th place. And so we were down to 14. And I remember the hand like so vividly. We were playing like the big blind was like 4,000, and I had like 900,000 chips. I had like a ton of chips, right? I was killing everyone. Yeah. So
in the video, I remember they said, and the overall chip leader.
Yeah.
Joe, the GOAT Tehan. Okay, they didn't say the GOAT.
They didn't say the GOAT.
They were thinking it.
But anyways, yeah. I'm kind of mood swinging. So when I have chips, I'm like, I think I could beat the world. And then when I don't, I'm just like, you're an idiot, So like, but anyways, I had a lot of chips. And that hand I remember so specifically because like, Faraz Jaka had like 68,000 in chips. Now there's 2 tables of 7, and we're playing down to 12 for 52,000. Right. So Faraz goes all in, and he was 14th. He would have been the 14th guy out. Mm-hmm. And he went all in for 68,000, and the big blind's 4,000. I look down, I'm in the big blind, and I have 4 deuce offsuit. And I'm like, okay, this is easy, right? So I'm just like gonna fold. And now like, Vanessa Russo, who's like second in, she like has 420,000. All right, and now she looks around at the table and she's like, raise. I'm like, what? He went all in for like 70,000. Why are you raising anything? Like, what kind of?
You should call everything.
You call aces. Like,
Right.
yeah, someone else might come in. What are you doing? Why would you raise, right? So she said raise. I'm like, so she like min raises to like 100,000. I'm like, what the heck is? She min raised to like 115, 120, and I'm like, this makes no sense. So now everyone folds to me, and I'm like, why would you raise? And I was so mad that she raised. I was like, I gotta teach her a lesson. She should never raise here. She should just call. So I'm gonna teach her a lesson, right? I'm gonna teach her how to get all of my chips. I guess I don't know. So anyways. I was like, oh, she's like raising for information. She wants to know if like her hand is good, right?
She's raising a third of her stack to find out where she is. Yeah,
So
no, that's very smart. Yeah.
So she made it like 120. I went all in for like 400,000. She tanks forever, and she calls finally too. And
what did she have?
She had a pair.
Pocket queens.
She was.
If I recall, she had pocket queens.
Okay, a small pair.
She had a small pair. Actually, honestly, I would say in today's poker, like
today's poker,
they would be on your side and they'd be like, "Why did you raise and why did you call? Like you should just be out of there, cash the tournament, or be like, just
it doesn't
call."
justify me going all in with four deuce ever, but
that's okay.
It doesn't justify it, but at the time, that was like, I don't know.
Yeah, you were on a run, baby. You were feeling yourself.
So it just came queen high and you lost the pot, huh?
No, it came.
Well, let's see what the other guy had, because I'm pretty sure it was pocket aces.
Oh, yeah. So Faraz went all in with aces for like 16 big blinds. And then Vanessa re-shoves with queens, or re-raises with queens, and then I went all in with 4 deuce. Vanessa calls. We get a 3-way all in. It's like aces, queens, and deuce 4.
Everyone's standing around the table.
Everyone's standing.
I know this.
Yeah, and it comes like 10, 8, 4, turn 4. And right when the flop came, like poor Vanessa.
What? Oh, turn 4?
Turn another one. Yeah. Right when the flop came, poor Vanessa, like it's almost like she knew. Like when the 4 came, she was like,
you even hitting one pair is like, I'm out.
yeah, she was like, don't. Like it was like she knew. And I like, yeah, the 4 came. It was like the inconceivable.
Yeah, and then the other 4
highlight.
did come.
It did.
And I think they walked out like holding, they were like
arm in arm.
walking out like, oh no, what just happened?
In the short history of this new league, lightning strikes. There have been several amazing moments.
Good call.
Seidel makes the call. Incredible. Chino Rheem is the first ever Epic Poker League champion. But perhaps the most epic hand of all happened on day 3 of the road to this final table. With 14 players remaining, all eyes were on one table. Faraz Jaka moved all in for $68,000.
300?
Vanessa Russo then re-raised to $120,000, but then the overwhelming table leader, Joe Tehan, re-raised to put Vanessa to the ultimate test. The seasoned veteran thought, and thought, and thought. Nearly 3 minutes.
I don't think I can fold this.
Before finally putting her tournament life on the line.
There's no way I can fold this. I call.
Russo flipped over queens, Jaka showed pocket aces, and then Joe Tehan turned over 4 deuce.
I'm not really sure what Joe was thinking.
Yeah, deuce 4. You know, Faraz and Vanessa were both on the bubble. I thought it was like a good play at the time.
Doesn't seem like a fair fight right now.
The flop gave Joe a pair of 4s, still way behind his opponents as they waited for the turn.
Please.
Which brought the inconceivable.
Oh my god.
Another 4.
Seriously right now?
What the hell just happened?
What the That is unbelievable. Deuce 4 to queens. Sucks when you take a beat. Really sucks when it's on like a $58,000 bubble. I was just supposed to double you up.
Yeah, I know.
What just happened?
It's pretty disgusting, but I mean, hey, that's the game we're playing, right? No limit hold'em, anything could happen.
What just happened?
Yeah.
And
for people who enjoy watching, like, you know, people who enjoy like a good sports betting bad beat story or like a good poker bad beat story, that's one of the like
epic ones.
Yeah, it was an epic one.
I kind of want to go back in time a little bit because, like, to me, it's hard to think that you could be living with Ben Lamb and not have some fun gambling stories like while you're living with him. I have plenty of gambling stories with Ben Lamb, and I never lived with him, so
yeah,
clearly you got something.
Yeah. So when I was living with Ben, one thing that I'll probably always remember is he had this thing, and whether I bought a piece of his PLO action or not, if he had 4 deuces in his hand in PLO, he had to try to win the pot. He had to choose an aggressive action. And you know how, like, if you have the graphics on, how it deals like 1 card, 2 card, 3 card, 4 card? Like, I remember countless times where it would be like deuce, 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 and I'll be like, no, no, no. And then one time we had it, and it was like raised 3-bet in front of him, and he actually folded, and I was so relieved. But one of like, I mean, we used to go crazy back in the day, like that 23, 24-year-old version of me. We spent tons of times just like drinking and gambling in the pits, and then going to clubs and wasting a ton of money, ending up at a strip club. You know, it's like we did the Vegas strip life for years, and it was fun. And, you know, obviously we're both married now and, you know, are more adult, I would say. But I mean, I have some crazy gambling stories, so much so that, okay, so I used to gamble like really big. And as someone who also used to drink a lot, having money in boxes at casinos could be, you know, pretty crazy. So I've won and lost 6 figures in a night before. And I remember I had this 1 year, $2,000 bet with Shaun Deeb. And it was like December or November. The year was almost over. And I got really drunk with my buddy Keith Ferreira. And we had this like brilliant idea. I was like, if I give you money to gamble with, then I'm not playing. And so he goes and plays craps. I give him $5,000. And, you know, I think we cash out for like, you know, 16, 17. He gets a few grand. I get the rest of the profit. And, you know, didn't even think twice about it. And then the next morning I woke up and I'm like, pretty sure I owe Deeb $2,000.
That seems fair.
Yeah. And then like 6 or 7 years ago, my last gambling endeavor, I was down in Florida with a horse, and we were staying together at the casino. And every single night, I was down there for like 2 weeks. Every single night for 6 or 7 nights, I got blackout drunk and woke up with more 5K chips in the safe every single day. And by the end of it, the night before my wife came, I woke up the next morning. She was getting there in like, you know, 6-8 hours. And I was up 265K in the pits. And Shaun Deeb was there, good friend of mine. And he's like, you should probably quit him now. He's like, you know, you can't beat him. I'm like, I know. And so we actually made a 10-year, $10,000 prop bet. And I am 6.5 years in. And I haven't played a pick game since then.
Is the 10K just one time, or is it like every time you play the pits? Because like if you just break it once, you know, it's probably less punishment. But like if it's every time you gamble,
it would just be I would lose the 10K bet. Yeah, but I'm not going to pay 10K to gamble. I wasn't going to pay 2K to gamble, but then I realized that
fair enough.
that I did.
I know some people that would do that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
We have a friend that made a no flipping bet because like in our game at the end of the night, like people that want to like stay and like basically just flip coins for like a lot of money. So they're just like, okay, I've lost too much money, no flipping. And then like a week and a half later, they'll flip and the specific gentleman I'm talking about lost. I think he lost like 30,000. But then he's like, oh, fuck, I forgot I had a 10,000 no flipping bet. So it's just immediately $10,000 more. And he was very, very upset because he completely forgot about it and lost.
Yeah, that is a true story.
That's brutal.
It's no one sitting here, but
no, it's not. But yeah, that's the way the game works. I will think one of mine that does semi-include you. I made a bet against, I was playing PLO with Devilfish. This is probably 2011-ish. It was a long time ago. And there was going to be a 10K PLO at the Bellagio, and the fields were pretty strong, but PLO was like very new, like to Bellagio, like they didn't like really run PLO events then. And he's like, give me odds to like, you know, win the whole thing. And I was just like, I thought he sucked at PLO. Like I know he really doesn't, but like I was just like made up a number. I think I said 30-1. Like I was just expecting the field to be like, you know, 60 deep or something like that. And he just like 30-1 booked. And then like I beat him out of like, I stacked him for like $5,000. He's like, you have to give me another like $2,000 at 35-1 now. I was like, yeah, you got it. Who cares? So the event happens like an hour later, and I go in there just to check out the field, and there's like 9 people signed up for this tournament, and I am fucking terrified. And I was like, well, I had to. Like I snap registered.
Did you call everyone that you knew that played PLO? Chance, I need you here. I mean, you're buying.
So basically, yeah. So I was telling everyone to play, and everyone was like, no one knows how to play PLO. We're not going to spend $10,000 just to do that. So I got in. I actually got in this huge spot where like I had top set. Was like King 9-7. I had top set of kings. Devilfish had 2 9s, and Ben had like the ultra wrap or whatever. And me and Ben get it in, and Devilfish flashes me the 2 9s and is like, "Sorry, buddy," and just flicks it in the muck. And I was like, damn it. And then like Ben beats me out of the pot, and like you couldn't rebuy. So I'm just like, fuck. And I just spent the entire time waiting on the sidelines. But long story short, he ends up making it to the final 3. The other 2 people were you and Ben. So I kept on running in there. And I think I was closer with Ben at the time. No, and he didn't. But I was, I think Mercier was even at the final table as well. But like I kept on running because like I was fairly close to Mercier, fairly close with Ben at the time. I was going in there and just like, how we doing, guys? We doing all right?
That rings a bell now that you said it.
Yeah, like I basically risked, like I think if he would have won, I would have owed him like $100,000, and like I think I got 2,500 out of the deal, or 3,000 or something silly. I'm like, this is the dumbest prop bet I've ever made in my life. Like this $3,000 is not changing my life at all, but I'm gonna lose my mind if I have to pay Devilfish $100,000.
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
So anyway, thank you. I don't remember who won it, but I know it wasn't him.
I have a good Arieh PLO story for you. So this has to be more than 10.5 years ago. Well, probably 12 years ago, because I was dating this other girl before my wife. And we went to see Michael Jackson 1 And it wasn't even in like the custom theater that all the Cirque du Soleils have. It was in like the amphitheater, the concert hall, basically. And I get a message from Ben. He's like, yo, I think it was Freddy Deeb or Sammy Farha, one of the two. So it was Freddy Deeb or Sammy Farha, Bobby Baldwin, and some other fish. And Ben's like, I can't go play, but they're playing like 200, 400 PLO and you need to go. And it was in the middle of this show. I remember I was breaking in these like reef sandals that I still have. My feet were just like blistered out. And I already kind of knew that the relationship with this girl like wasn't going to work out too. And so I was like, I got to go. And I just walk all the way to fucking, you know, in the back of that studio, all the way to the cab line. And I'm just booking it as fast as I can in these sandals that are just tearing my feet apart. You know, it's get in the cab, arrive at Aria, walk all the way to the poker room. And by the time I get there, my feet are legitimately bleeding. And I sit down in the game and it's just as advertised. It's four-handed with me, Bobby, and two like pretty big whales. And I end up making like a pretty big number. I think I made like 160. Ben bought a piece. So I made, you know, almost 100 grand. And my feet were just bleeding. And like an hour into the session, I was just in so much pain. I asked the floor man, I'm like, is there like any slippers or like, is there any shoes I can go buy or something like that? And he's like, I think I can have a pair of slippers brought down from like the hotel. And so sure enough, he gets me a pair of slippers, so relieved, you know, throw him 100. And I put these slippers on, and like an hour later, I look down and they're just red. They're just like covered in blood. I'm sitting there playing 200, 400 PLO in this dream spot.
Did a Band-Aid not occur to you, by the way?
No, just blood on my feet.
It's like, instead of something to stop the bleeding, let's just get a pillow to put around it.
Yeah. Let's absorb it.
Please tell me you still have the slippers.
I still have the sandals. I mean, I broke them in.
Wow, they sound horrible.
And they're sentimental value.
So yeah, definitely. They're like it's like the Cinderella story, except you're one of the stepsisters that cut off her toe to fit into the glass shoe.
Did you ever talk to the girl again? I'm more concerned. Did she chase after you? Did she stay for the show? Like, I kind of wanted her to stay for the show.
No, like she knew I played poker. She was understanding. Like we didn't break up right then. We broke up like later on. But I wasn't like concerned with my relationship with her. I was like, she'll either get it or not.
So when she watches this, as she inevitably will, she's going to be upset or she'll understand?
She might be in jail in Thailand, so I think we're safe.
What? You don't think we reached Thailand jails? I mean, this is international, baby.
That's a big part of our audience, the Thailand jails.
Lady boys. I mean, we got a lot of demographics out there.
Oh, is that why it didn't work out? You're not a lady boy.
So why would you guess she's in jail right now?
So years and years later, I hadn't talked to her in probably like 6 or 7 years. She reaches out to Ben and is like, hey, like I need money to get out of like jail. Somehow that's the person she called. And she's like, I'll pay you back. And he's like, I believe he gave her money. He was like, don't pay me back, but don't ever contact me again.
That's fair. No.
Nice gesture.
Jail for what? Oh, now I got to know this.
I don't know. I didn't really dig deep.
Make up something.
Just a quick break here. Have you ever checked out like the listing for Coachella or some other music festival and you look at it and you're like, man, Kanye, I don't know a lot of bands, Eminem, how do they get all these people on here? Well, Phenom Poker has a list of pros: Joe Chong, Sergio Ido, Justin Young,
Chris Hunichin.
Brian Brass, Chris Hunichin,
Eric Baldwin. Yeah, it's a who's who.
It's a who's who of guys who just support this
Engel.
platform, and it hasn't even launched yet. And Table One is on that list. We support Phenom Poker. We think they're going to do good things. It's going to be the online poker site that you can trust. You can deposit with crypto. They're going to teach you how to do everything. And the best time to sign up is right now before they launch, because everybody who signs up to the waiting list is going to get extra tokens, extra rake back. It's really going to be in your best interest to sign up now. So just check in the description below. We're going to have a link right at the top that says Phenom Poker. Sign up through Table One. Get on the waiting list and sign up today.
Super simple. Name, email, and then you're on with us.
You once told me a funny Germany story about coming back. You wanna tell that one?
Sure, I don't care. I mean,
this is between Blackjack Chino.
Right when I graduated high school, I was 18 years old. Graduated high school, or maybe I was 17. I don't remember. But my dad said you have two choices. You could either go to college, or you can come work in the restaurant for Germany in Germany. So the guy who I call my uncle, because I've known him my whole life, he was
I guess my dad's closest friend. They were in the army together. He's not my real uncle, but his name was Peter Lee. I called him my uncle, and they opened a sushi restaurant in Frankfurt, Germany. Like, it was really nice. It was like a 3-story restaurant. Like, you go up these wooden stairs, and the first floor is the restaurant. The second floor you could see outside and whatever. And he said you could either go to school or work in the restaurant. So I said, let's go to Germany. And I lived in Frankfurt, Germany for 6 months when I was 18, and I loved it. It was the best decision I could ever make. It opened my eyes to the world and everything, and I learned a little German and just got to see a different part of the world and just saw what was out there besides what all I knew. And when the 6 months was over and my dad had paid me and everything, he says, you know, good job, I'm proud of you, you worked hard, blah, blah, blah. He's like, what do you want to do? I was a pothead. I was a stoner back then, obviously. I said, Dad, I want to go to Amsterdam. And he was remarried with my, at the time, stepmother, and he says, okay, you can go, but you got to bring your stepmother with you, right? Sure, no problem. So she's cool, she was cool. She took a train, we took like whatever, a 2-hour train ride to Amsterdam, however long it took. We took a train to Amsterdam, and like right when we left the station, the first thing I wanted to do was go to a coffee shop, and they had I think it was called Bulldog or something. It was like, they had the coffee shop like literally on that strip when you leave the station of all those souvenir stores.
Yeah. I actually just got back from Frankfurt and Amsterdam.
Okay,
But I know which one you're talking about.
Yes.
The red light district area or whatever.
Exactly.
And there's
So,
that canal one,
So I went straight into that coffee shop, and I was just like, ta-da! And like, it had all the little weed, and they're like, this is Jack Hair, and this is bubble gum, and this is that. And I'm just like, I was like, they do not have this in America. I am gonna be the man. I'm coming back with the best weed. Like, my plan was like, I'm taking this home. So I literally bought an ounce of like all different types of grams of weed. And then we take the train ride. And my stepmom, she was cool. She saw me. I smoked a joint there, whatever. She didn't say nothing. She wasn't tripping. We take the train ride back to Germany. I have no idea what I'm doing. I like wrap this ounce up in like saran wrap and coffee beans and freaking whatever, right? But you could still smell it, and I could still smell it. And so now we're about to take a flight home back to Florida, but international, we flew into Florida. We didn't fly into Miami. I mean, we flew into Atlanta. We didn't fly into Miami. And we had this woman sitting in the middle of me and my mom. And the whole time, the whole like 10-hour flight, this lady's like, I smell something. Do you guys? And I'm just like, I don't know what it is. And my stepmom is like, yeah, I don't know what it is. I was like, Mom, I don't know. Like, maybe it's the person over there. I don't know. Like, right? And I just kept trying to play it off, but you could like, it was in my nutsack. It was literally in my nutsack. I didn't know where to put it. Like, that's how naive and stupid I was.
No one's gonna touch here.
And so now we land. And every person who flies international, I don't know if it's the same, but back then, you go down these 2 escalators. And the escalators are like 4 stories high. So you're going down escalators that take like 3 minutes to get down, right? And I see it, and everyone's going down. And at the bottom of the escalators are like the airport security with dogs. And I'm just freaking out. I'm like, oh shit, right? And I see what they're doing. Every person that gets to the bottom of the escalator, a dog sniffs them and they just walk by.
Quick sniffing, yeah.
Quick sniff and you walk by. I'm like, I'm fucked. And I look over the escalator, right? Because it's tall. I'm like, and there's like 10 of them. There's like 10 airport security guys. They're just talking. I'm like, there's no way I could toss this over. They're just gonna see it. There's like another guy with a dog. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So my stepmom is in front of me. Finally, we get down. She goes, little sniff, sniff. She walks right by. Now it's my turn. I walk, I sniff, and all I hear is, excuse me. And I just keep walking. I hear, excuse me. And this dog is fucking going rampant on my nutsack like this. And finally, I feel a hand on my shoulder saying, excuse me. And the guy stops me and says, yes. And he's like, can you just stand there, sir? And the dog's just fucking going nuts like this. And I'm dead. And sure enough, he's like, okay, we need to search you. He takes me in the office. Obviously, I get caught. He finds the weed. And I got arrested. I thought I was like gonna be a slick little teenager and get away with it, and it was the dumbest thing I could have done. And I got arrested, and I went to jail, and I was in Fulton County Jail for 2 weeks, and it was
I mean, hard times for Chino.
Hard times.
I mean, 2 weeks is nothing to laugh about. I'm not trying to, but like 2 weeks, that's not bad for smuggling in drugs on your nuts.
It's not bad, no. The crazy part was, the two guys that detained me, they were like very, what's the politically correct, very country.
Oh yeah. No, I'm from North Carolina. I know what you're trying to say.
Very country white folk.
A couple of my cousins, basically.
Yeah, and one of the guys, I remember when he pulled it out, because I had some pre-rolled joints, and he's like, Bob, this right here is the best that I've ever smelled. It was like literally just like that. He's just talking to his other guy. He's like, there's some good stuff right here. And it's like, he didn't even like fill out paperwork. He just like stuck it in his drawer.
Yep.
Of the desk of his drawer. I remember that, right? And then there was a sign on the door, and it goes, if you pay a $2,000 US fine, that you something like you'll be released, right? And I had like $8,000 US on my person, and my stepmom had more, and I was like, okay, I'd like to pay it. They're like, you can't pay it because you're the detainee, you're being arrested, right? I was like, okay, my stepmom will pay it, right? Like I said it, I go, my stepmom. She goes, no, I won't. She was so cheap. She goes, no, I won't. You could arrest him. I was like, I was in shock. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I shouldn't admit this now, but at that time I had a genuine full-on hatred for my stepmother after that moment. Like it was real.
Yeah,
it
was very real.
You're 18, 19, your emotions got the best of you.
First time being arrested like that.
You think you have an out for like the worst thing you've ever done.
Yes. And no out.
You literally got ultimately grounded by her.
Take him away.
And she didn't know it was going to be 2 weeks either. It could have been, jeez, it could have been a long run an ounce in.
I had a genuine hatred for her after that, for real. I mean, I don't anymore, obviously, but yeah.
Wow. All right, that's it, guys. If you like that, there's plenty more just like that inside of each of those episodes. One more thing I wanted to add is we took a little bit of heat for promoting Gauntlet.xyz, and I can understand why. Celsius, FTX, BlockFi, all these centrally financed C5 protocols and platforms held your coins, held your keys, and then they went under, did shady things with them or whatever. Gauntlet can't do that. It's a DeFi platform. They just control your risk. So you are putting your crypto into these vaults. You're not really putting anything anywhere. They are smart contracting out your lending against the interest rate that people are borrowing at. Basically, they're the risk controller of your DeFi strategy. It's basically a bunch of data scientists working for you. So it's not like those other platforms where they have the capability to become greedy and take your money whenever they want. They literally can only do what the algorithm and the smart contract lets them do. So just remember that, and if you guys actually want to try it out, gauntlet.xyz/T1, that really helps us out. So yeah, I've got all my stable coins inside of there now. So I'm trusting it with all of that. So go ahead and check that out if you want to, or if you don't, at least stop flaming us in the comments. All right, peace.